Let's debunk a few myths today and take an objective and impartial look at the situation in Xinjiang and Xizang, or Tibet. That's what a French scholar has endeavored to do. She crisscrossed the two autonomous regions in northwest China, as well as Gansu Province, numerous times to study ethnic minority groups, probably more time than most people ever did. What did she find out? What conclusions did she come to? I sat down in Beijing with Sonia Bressler, a French publisher, sinologist and writer, who is also founder and president of the publishing house called La Route de la Soie, meaning the Silk Road. On June the 18th, she was awarded the 17th Special Book Award of China, the highest national prize given to foreign publishers, translators, and authors. So, Sonia, welcome to The Point, and thank you for agreeing to do this at such short notice. Tell us the story behind the Silk Road Publishing House. Why did you see the need to start such a house, to find such a house?
It's a huge question, so I'll be short. First of all, I took a train to Beijing. It was after my PhD in philosophy, and then I discovered this country, and I maybe fall in love with China. And I said, wow, I have a doctorate, but I don't know about China, I don't know about philosophy, and I do not understand why. So I came back to France and I said, wow, there is a gap between our knowledge. During my study in France, I cannot study Chinese philosophy. It was only Westerners' philosophy. So I decided to understand why there is such a gap. So I came back to China and then I crossed Tibet to Nepal and India. And then I need to go back to Tibet and to understand better China, because I think there is a huge question for me. It's how you can manage a diversity, such diversity of ethnical diversity, and to create a unity. So it's why I went to Tibet and then to Xinjiang again.
Yeah.
So I would like to explore that because I would like to understand. And then when I come back, I was afraid because media or maybe also friends.
That was when you started the publishing house?
I started the publishing house after my traveling. It was in 2017. Because my own publisher said to me, you wrote about China, it's quite weird, so no.
What did you write that they found weird?
I wrote a book about my traveling and my journey in Tibet. It was called Travel to the Heart of Tibet.
Travel to the heart of Tibet.
Yes, because I spent 2 months during the winter. It was in 2012. And so I speak with people, share food, instant moment, etc. So for him, it was kind of weird. I said, oh, in Tibet, it's okay. We have a huge life and we can study at the university. And I was there, so I saw the university. So I can say what is the program and how we can study in it, etc.
I know the French and Europeans have a certain understanding of Tibet, or what we call Xizang.
Yeah.
Increasingly, they have a different understanding of the history and identity of Tibet and Tibetans. So they found your story not in line with.
Yeah, he said it's a little bit complicated to publish you like that. He accepts for the one book of Tibet. But after he said to me, it's quite bizarre. So
because your view is alternative.
Yeah, totally. So I came back and then I decided to go back again in Tibet and in Xinjiang. And I decided after that to say, we need something in France. We need to have an alternative to understand China in another way. So I decided to create my own publishing house. And I publish also French author and different kind of nationality. But also people, they can share also the same point of view of China and to understand better it.
Which is different from the mainstream, mainstream
totally
ideas.
different.
One of the books that you helped publish was this one about putting an end to fake news on the Uyghurs. It's a very big hit here in China, but I understand it was a very alternative, also it's very much against the mainstream. How much pressure was there for you to publish that house on you and on Mr. Viva?
So when we do the book, it's okay, but after the media reading it, it was very difficult. Maxime Viva has some attacks, and me also.
Looking back, do you think you did the right thing?
Yes, because we can, I'm a philosopher, so I love debate. So we need to have maybe one or two point of view, and if you are only the Westerners media, it's okay, but there is another world. So we need to have both and to discuss. So the book of Maxime, we need it because we need to see another way the situation, and we need to discuss it, and we need to see behind the frontier.
Beyond the frontier. He came to China, he saw with his own eyes, and you also. You've been to Xinjiang, and you've seen the situation, which is...
which is different, but it was 10 years ago for me, so maybe I have to come back, but 10 years ago I cannot say it's what the Western media says, so it's difficult, but I'm also teacher of discourse analysis, so for me it's difficult, but I can explain why there is some written stories about Xinjiang in this way in Western media and the other way of China. So.
How do you do financially? As I hope you're happy. You're doing what you want to do. You're happy, but you also, are able to support yourself. From China's perspective, definitely that's the case. That should be the case.
Yes. I know the question. In fact, I'm a real dreamer, so I do myself everything. I do not have a huge team, I have only me, and I'm working a lot. So I do teaching class, conferences, and then I can publish book. That's right.
Yeah, because it is difficult to...
It is difficult.
Right? If you don't fit into the mainstream, you get pressure and...
We have pressure, but it's okay. It's like gambling, maybe. Because it's I don't know the word. I forget.
What would
Le
be?
pari. C'est un pari. C'est un pari pour l'avenir.
Paris. So you're betting that this is the future.
This is the future. Yeah. Maybe we have to understand different kind of stories to create a new one for the future. And a better understanding based on facts, not only about different kind of propaganda which is linked to geopolitical strategy.
Why do you bet that this is the future? And what is the future exactly? What is the future? China, or what is the future?
I think we have to think about the future generation, and we have to give them the key to live in peace, I think, in a peaceful world. We can share everything. Your president say to share a community of destiny. I think
community of shared future.
Yeah. So if it's the case, it is a case without lies.
Without lies, and you believe that.
I believe we need to analyze all those kind of stories.
What about the other civilizations? What about, French story or the European story? What kind of position do they find in the future that you envision? Have you thought about it?
It's a huge question also.
It is also, I'm sorry.
Maybe we can come back in a sort of enlightenment for Europe, because enlightenment was a way when Europe is one, it's not composed, but people share the same language. It was Latin, so information goes quickly, and the way of thinking was very interesting. So maybe we can do a new enlightenment, but not an enlightenment with the domination bref, something like that. With
not in the religious sense.
No, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So a very different way of sharing.
You have been to China how many times?
10 times, I think. More
than 10 times.
But not in the great city. Only in Xinjiang and Tibet and Gansu.
Oh, only Xinjiang, Tibet, and Gansu.
Yeah.
Oh, you're fascinated.
I never been in Shanghai or.
Oh, never. You should go too.
Yeah, I know.
You should go too.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Sonia Bressler,
Thank you.
founder and publisher of the Silk Road Publishing House in France, La Route de la Soie.